What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Young Rebel Podcast. I am your host, the Rebel. What's going on, guys? You know, first and foremost, let's pay the bills. Let's straighten this up. No, not this stream. I always say that. I don't know why I always say that. This podcast is brought to you by Grind Gaming from grindgamingapparel.com. Use the discount code YoungRebel5 to save 5% on your purchase today. The stream was also... I said it again. What's wrong with me? What on earth is wrong with me? I don't know streaming from podcasting. Unbelievable. This podcast was brought to you by... I don't want to say the wrong thing now. This podcast is brought to you by Draftmate. You know, sometimes you're out here lonely, like me, and you want to find somebody special. All you have to do is download Draftmate, guys. Girls. Instead of swiping left and right, all you got to do is draft up or draft down. When you match with somebody, the coin flip determines who starts the conversation. It's not always up to the guy. It's not always up to the girl. It's 50-50, guys. 50-50. So go ahead, give Draftmate a try today and start drafting for love. Today, it's Christmas Day here where I'm at. It's Christmas Day everywhere. But you guys won't hear this until sometime into January. I woke up this morning at 4 a.m. or something, like I typically do. Then I got a little something in my beard here. I don't know what that is. But, I woke up around 4 a.m. this morning, like I always do. And I couldn't go back to sleep. Got the whole day off. I don't know what to do with my life. So I'm just sitting around like, is there anything good I can watch? And then I turn on my TV. I got a big Roku TV, one in my bedroom, one out here in my living room. I'm just laying in bed. And on the sidebar, I don't know if you guys have Roku TVs or if it's on all smart TVs now. I don't know. But on the sidebar, it says, watch Soul Christmas Day. I'm like, Soul is on Disney Plus. Maybe I'll give that a look. It looked mildly interesting. It's Pixar. I like most Pixar movies. So I figured I'd give it a shot. I also see that Wonder Woman 1984 was at the bottom left-hand side of the sidebar. And I was like, I do have HBO Plus or HBO Max, whatever it's called. And I'm glad that it's finally on Roku so I can watch Wonder Woman. I was going to go to the movie theater, but I don't really like sitting. You guys know, I've been to the movie theater a couple times since the pandemic began. I don't really like sitting there with the mask on. If I found that I cannot focus while watching Wonder Woman on my couch, I will gladly go to the movie theater because I'd much rather go watch it in IMAX or something. I feel like it would be super cool to see it in IMAX. I was actually talking to a guy at work about this yesterday. I feel like certain movies have to be seen in the movie theater. I really do. And I hope that this video on demand stuff does not become the new norm for society. I miss going to the movie theater. I miss the anticipation of going to sit down in the movie theater and watch a movie with people, just hearing everybody's reaction. Like, as much as it irritates me to have a loud movie theater, sometimes it's necessary. Like in Avengers Endgame, it was absolutely necessary for when Captain America picked up Thor's hammer and launched it at Thanos and went into an all-out battle with Thanos. But it was just so freaking cool to hear everybody's reaction and people getting up out of their seats and clapping and stuff like that. I'm good with it, and I was so happy to see so many reactions. Something about it was just awesome. When Thor came to Wakanda, just watching everybody's reaction was so freaking cool. And I hope that one day we can get back to that. And I hope that this whole video on demand, watch this stuff on your Disney Plus or your HBO Max, I hope that that does not become the new norm for our society. I hope that once the coronavirus slowly wraps itself up, we can get back to the things the way things used to be. I'm I'm an old school guy, so I don't like a lot of change. I mean, yes, change is necessary, but this is one change that I don't think is very necessary. So I'm over here admiring this haircut. Could have been a little more crispy on the line up, but I don't know. I have a rookie barber. She's clearly a rookie, but yeah, I don't know. Like, lineup's not as crisp as the old lady, but it is what it is. It could also be just the way I styled it, but I think that lineup is not crispy. I don't know. You would think that I would look in the mirror, but I kind of just trust the people who cut my hair, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not too picky with my hair, because at the end of the day, I know I'm just going to sponge it in the morning anyway, like I always do. And yeah, I mean, it's a little wet, so I didn't really sponge too well, but it's sponged. Anyway, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, I do want to talk about this Justin Bieber song, Holy. I went on a date a couple weeks ago, look at some Christmas lights with this girl. And I think I brought it up in the last episode where I was talking about my dating life being an absolute joke. I think that's the actual title of it. I can't remember at this point. But anyway, I'm talking to this girl in the car, and she's like, what do you think about Justin Bieber? He found God. He really found Jesus. And I just love his music now. And I mean, I've only heard 2 songs about him. One about him being a stupid kid, and the second one, Holy. She was talking about Holy. And I was like, yeah, I like the song. I think it's pretty good. Is this something that you would find on my phone? No. I mean, you'll find all Eminem on my phone. Also, Google Music needs to come back because the YouTube music is absolute garbage. I can't even play half the songs that I bought from Google because YouTube music is just way too confusing. Way too confusing. I don't believe in this whole subscription-based music listening. I like the songs that I like. I would love to buy Eminem's new album, Music to Be Murdered By Part B or Side B, whatever it's called. But I don't know how to buy it. And I don't really want to buy it on the Apple Store simply because in the event that I go back to Android at some point in time, I would love to be able to carry that music over, which is why I always used Google Music, because it can go from Apple to Android, but now we're stuck with YouTube Music, and I can't even figure out how to buy the album. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the Justin Bieber song, Holy. I just get so distracted with something. It's amazing. Anyway, she asked me, what do I think the song means? And I mean, I hadn't seen the music video or anything. I had just heard it a couple times on the radio on my drive into work. And I told her, to me, it sounds like he found somebody that he really enjoys spending time with. He loves this woman, and he wants to marry her at some point in time, which is why he says, run into the altar like a track star. So I would imagine that's what I got out of it. I would imagine that they want to get married. And they want to, and if they did find God, they want to get married in a church under God or before God, whatever the saying is. I don't really know. As you guys know, I'm not much of a religious person. So, I mean, if they want to have that full religious experience and not just the government side of marriage, I mean, sure, go for it. I'm down with that, but that's what I got from the song. And she tells me it's more so about not having sex before marriage. And I was like, really? I don't think they mentioned sex one time in this song. And she's like, I don't know, but that's what I got from it. And I'm like, huh, interesting. And as I'm driving home from this date, it does come on the radio. And I'm trying to find where she got this information. It never showed up. So I'm just like, huh. And so, this morning while I'm sitting on the toilet, I was like, I'm still just mind blown that she even picked that out of the entire song as her takeaway point. And I don't know, maybe that's just her belief. I don't know, no sex before marriage. It is what it is. If that's how you view God, do your thing. That's all for you. I'm not here to impose my thoughts or beliefs on anybody. If that's your thing, go for it. Cool. I just don't think that's what the song's about. So I'm sitting on the toilet. I look at YouTube, like I typically do, watching a Ryan Moody video or something, and I see Holy is on the homepage. Like there's an actual music video for it. And I'm like, okay. So I take a look at it, and it's about the coronavirus. At one point, all of the workers get laid off from their job. Like a lot of people across the whole world did, not just America, the whole world. People were laid off from their jobs. And I mean, unfortunately, this couple became homeless and they're walking throughout the streets. A soldier picks them up and welcomes them and welcomes Justin Bieber and his girlfriend, fiance, wife, whatever she is, into their home. And they have a nice warm meal. I thought the music video was great. But again, I'm just like, where is she getting this no sex before marriage? Don't ruin music like that, guys. You're ruining perfectly good music by creating you're creating stuff in your head. Don't do it. Please do not ruin music by doing stuff like that. That's my rant on. I'm telling you, it's much easier to just mind your own business, stay home, create some content, play some games, watch movies. I can't wait to. So Wonder Woman didn't come on until noon or something, so I'll watch her later on. But I can't wait to sit on my couch and see if I can actually focus. I'm much more excited to do that than sit up and go on dates or something. But you know, it's Christmas Day. I don't think anyone's going on dates today. So let's get into Soul. Let's get into Soul. I've been rambling for 12 minutes now. Let's get into Soul. Soul is a great movie and might actually be the most woke Disney movie I've seen in my entire life. It's nothing but black characters in this movie. Well, I mean, there's a few white characters throughout the movie, but it's mostly black people the entire movie, and it's about finding purpose. It's about finding inspiration, and they attack mental health within the black community in such a way that is just that was moving. It really was. I mean, honestly, I don't know if that's more so a kids movie. I'm sure it is a kids movie. But when you sit back and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old. No Pixar movie that I've seen in recent years, no Disney movie that I've seen in recent years spoke to my adult side the way that Soul did. Like, sure, I'll sit down and I'll watch Toy Story and it just feels like, ha ha ha, kids, fun. Lion King, kids and fun and all that stuff. But Soul is a very adult movie. It talks about real stuff. It talks about anxiety. I mean, we're a few weeks into the future at this point. So I can kind of say whatever I want at this point without worrying about being a spoiler. I hope you guys have seen it by now. But if not, I'm going to try and limit the spoilers. Either way, mental health and anxiety are real things, guys. I mean, I'm not one to always sit back and scream, mental health this, mental health that. Oh, that's just anxiety. But I mean, as somebody who does suffer from anxiety quite often, we'll have to get into why at another point in time. I mean, even if we did get into why, it's just very simple. That's life. That is life. There's no way around it. Everybody suffers from anxiety. And if you don't, you're lying. And as you guys know, I do not like lying to you. I don't like people lying to me. So let's just be 100 here. What is going on? Discourse popping off this morning. Either way, they talk about the anxieties of life, and the little character 22 is. I really want you have no idea what happens to 22. So I don't know. While I'm sitting there watching it, I get the idea that she's going to be a therapist when she gets to the real world or Earth. I, that's just from her conversations and how she was treating others. I had an idea that she would be a therapist, counselor, something that would be within the realm of talking to other people, helping other people through just life in general. I could be completely wrong. Maybe I could have it twisted, but that's the way I saw it. Maybe I could be sitting there coming up with something that's clearly not there. I don't know. Maybe that's how interpretation works. But in this case, I think I'm a little bit closer than our Justin Bieber Fever girl. Uh, at one point in the barbershop, there's a barbershop scene. If you guys don't know, I don't know. Maybe you guys are unaware of the black community, but barbershops, and I missed this actually. Like barbershops are a very tight knit community. Um, at least they were back in the day. I haven't been to an actual barbershop in a long time. It's been probably about 5, 6 years, if I'm being honest with you. Um, I kind of go to salons now to get my hair cut, but barbershops, you come in, you sit down, you wait your turn. You might have a standing appointment with your barber, so you kind of get to cut the line. But everyone, they know each other. They sit around, they talk, they have a good time. The barber cuts their hair. The barber hears about your life, but guess what? You never hear about the barber's life. And while 22 is living inside of Joe's body for the day, she was asking questions about the barber. I believe his name was Dennis. I think that was his name. Do you know the last time, and just straight up, the last time anybody asked me about my life and how I feel and if I'm okay, and actually meant it and cared if I was okay? I can't remember the last time that that's happened. And in the black community, that's something that you just don't see very often. And myself included, when I ask, hey, what's going on, man? How you doing today? Do I actually mean it, or is that just conversation? And in reality, I know that that is just nothing but conversation. And like, you might say something deep, and I'll stop and I'll listen. I'll pat you on the back or say something that I think might be motivational or meaningful to you to make your day a little bit better. But 22 sat in that chair, which I mean, you can't get up and go nowhere while you're getting your hair cut. I mean, if you want to walk out the door and look like a fool, go right for it. But sat there and asked meaningful questions and actually listened to the barber while he was still cutting the hair. And at the end, while they're walking out, Joe's sitting inside of a cat's body. That was interesting. I love cats. Cat made the movie for me. But uh, the barber says, Joe, thanks so much for talking, and thanks so much for listening. And at one point he says, how come you never told me so much about your life? And the barber says, because you never asked. And it's just like, wow, that's deep, guys. That is deep. When is the last time that you or I asked somebody about themselves? When is the last time you or I asked somebody if they're okay? When is the last time you or I asked somebody just straight up, how are you doing? How did you get to where you are today? What led you down this path? But yeah, we ask people that when they're in a bad way. What led you down this path? When is the last time you actually asked somebody and meant it? Are you happy? When is the last, mean it or not, when is the last time you asked somebody, are you happy? I can't remember the last time I asked somebody, are you happy? Like we kind of just accept the cards that we're dealt. I mean, we find out that the barber wanted to be a veterinarian, but something happened with his daughter, and he couldn't afford vet school, so he went to barber school instead and learned how to cut hair, and he's been cutting hair ever since. And Joe, aka 22, says, "And now you're not happy with that, are you?" And the barber stops and says, "Man, I'm happy." And they have a legitimate conversation about it. And so it kind of begs the question that I've had for years. What is happy? Is happiness truly attainable, or is happiness something that we're always chasing? And I've always leaned on the side of happiness is something that we're always chasing, because you'll get it and then it goes. It comes and goes, kind of like money. Money comes, money goes. Happiness comes, happiness goes. But how do we keep happiness? We keep happiness by, in my opinion, and from what I got from the movie, we keep happiness by talking to other people. And that's something that we're not able to do right now in time. We're not able to talk to people. We're not able to be around other people. And ultimately, even when we don't care enough to sit down and actually talk and have conversations, legitimate conversations. Guys, we sit here on our cell phones. We'll be sitting at dinner with our friends or our families, and we're on our cell phones the whole time, texting and tweeting and taking Snapchats. And I mean, family knows I'm the king of Snapchat. I'll go to the family event and I'll be over there. "Hey, we got all the food up in here, y'all. Ooh, look at that. Look at that chicken wing. That looked tasty. I'm going to be the first one to bite into that." Just stupid stuff. Stupid stuff. I mean, yeah, it's all in good fun. But at the end of the day, when are we actually present? When are we actually caring? When are we actually having legitimate conversations with our friends, family, and just random people on the street, man? And honestly, in the black community, that's something that's overlooked. And there's just so much, and I don't want to get political at all. You guys know this. But there's just so much division within the black community that's unbelievable. So to just sit there and watch a movie of black men having good conversation. And yet, even the little hating dude who was in the barbershop, who didn't like Joe, he just had his little smack to talk about and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's going to be guys like that. But when 22 was inside of Joe's body, 22 looked at the dude. I think his name was Paul. I don't know. I might be making that up. But he says, or she says to him, "You're only saying that to cover up the problems in your own life." And then he looked back and said, "Man, that hurt, Joe." Because that's the truth. I've never seen such a accurate movie in my life. That movie, if you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. And guys, it also addresses the issues that parents and children face. And no matter how old you get, your parents are always going to have something to say. No matter how old you get, your child is always going to have something to say. You guys are always going to have differing views on things. We find out that Joe's mother wants Joe to have a stable job, a stable career, so he can take care of himself and pay his bills. She's worried about what's going to happen to her son when she's no longer on this earth. And Joe's father was a musician. He had multiple gigs, kind of like Joe does. But at the end of the day, he wasn't making ends meet to pay his bills. So his wife, aka Joe's mother, had a little tailor business, and she's tailoring suits, and I guess they do dresses and all that stuff. She's tailoring these clothes to keep food on the table so that Joe's father can go out and live his dream, live his passion. And so at this point, she's worried that her child is following down the same path that his father did. And she doesn't want that. She's worried. She's actually concerned. She's actually concerned for her child. And we don't find this out until 22 has to talk to Joe's mom. Because Joe's stuck in the cat's body. He can't talk. Every time he's talking, he's only talking to 22. Nobody else can hear him. All the people around, they just hear kitten noises. Meow, 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 meow. So 22 had to talk to Joe's mom. And they had a real conversation about this. And Joe hits her with this. If I die today, I don't want to feel like my life was a waste. Like, bro, you know how deep that is? Do you really recognize how deep that is? Do you recognize that that's all passion is? Like, when you are passionate about something, you want to go for it. That is what fuels your happiness. You are happiest when you are with your passion. I am happiest when I am sitting here playing my games. I am happiest when I am producing content. Look, as much as I loved my previous job, I loved that place. And it was very difficult to accept this new position. It was very difficult to hand in my letter of resignation. It was very difficult final 2 weeks at that job. But ultimately, I love being able to come home and stream and play games and relax and produce content, see my family members, go to my grandmother's house, not be tired all the time, man. Not be stressed out because someone's constantly calling my phone when I'm not even at work. Like, we've got to chase happiness. The pursuit of happiness is real, folks. Chase your passion. Yeah, I'm passionate about fitness, but I'm also passionate about gaming. I'm passionate about having a work-life balance. You have to balance these things out in life, and I've got that over here. So I definitely felt what Joe was saying when he just looked his mom dead in the eye. Because guess what? Me and my parents don't see eye to eye 90% of the time about various things. They've been telling me since I was a kid, oh, when you get older, you won't be playing those games anymore. Guess what? I'm 27. I'm still playing games. I'm playing games like I have nothing else to do. I sit here and play video games on Twitch. And, as much as I hate to shout it, I get paid to play video games at this point. That's not a lot. I don't get to do it full time. But I get paid to play video games. I get it. 20 years ago, that was not a career option. 20 years ago, that was not even something that people thought about. If you got paid to play games, it was because you were testing the game. Not just because you were playing it for your own enjoyment. That's not how it worked 20 years ago. Because guess what? When I was 7, we were playing on Game Boy Colors, Game Boys, Game Boy Advance. The Nintendo 64, the NES, Sega, PlayStation, not PlayStation 2, PlayStation. That's how it was 20 years ago, guys. So let's. And Joe's got a passion for music. He loves his music. And sure, he's got a great opportunity to teach, but he also wants to be an actual performer. Which I think is something that a lot of people want. I think a lot of people want fame and attention and to perform their craft in front of the masses. I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun doing it. So I get it. I get what he's going after. He's going after that feeling of, wow, people are looking at me. People enjoy watching me do this. So I get it. Is it scary? Of course. I'm sure he's scared too. But his mom's also scared. And they had to have a real conversation about it. And in the end, guys, when he gets a second chance at life, which, let's be clear, we don't get very many second chances in life, period. But he got a second chance at life. Life as a whole, because this fool fell down a manhole and was basically dead. And then, I guess, I don't know, the cartoon version of the Grim Reaper, I don't know what Terry was supposed to be, but Terry came back and snatched his soul and sent him back to the great beyond or something, or almost under the great beyond, something. But when he became at peace with going to the great beyond, Jerry comes along, Jerry saves him and gives him a second chance at life. And she asks him, what are you going to do with your life now? And he says, I'm not sure, but I'm going to live. I'm going to live my life. And guys, at the end of the day, you have to live your life. You have to be happy. You need to go chase happiness. When you find what makes you happy, a massive weight just comes off your shoulders. It comes off of your chest. You can breathe better. I mean, I know it's very hard for a lot of people to be happy right now. I know personally it's difficult. I'm somebody who deals with anxiety all the time. But when you start removing yourself from situations that cause anxiety, things start to open up. Your breathing gets better. Like your vision actually gets wider. It's less of this and it becomes more of this, and like you can see with your whole peripherals. And life is just so much better, guys. It really and truly is. If you haven't seen Soul, I highly suggest you watch it. It's potentially the most woke movie I've seen in my entire life. It's definitely the most woke movie Disney has ever produced, and I think Disney has produced a lot of really good movies. And I mean, let's also be clear, I have not seen The Princess and the Frog. I think that's the one with the black princess. I'm not somebody who's really into the princess movies, so it's just something I haven't watched yet. But I do have Disney Plus, so I might sit down and watch it one day. I might watch it on New Year's or something. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll sit down and be like, that's the most woke movie of all time. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. What's another movie that I think is woke? Remember the Titans? Ooh, that's a Disney movie, isn't it? That might be the most woke movie of all time. Maybe. I think it's the most real movie of all time. Probably the most real movie, not woke. Real. Real good movie about brotherhood. If you guys ever played football, that is so accurate. You actually become brothers with those guys. And I know that I don't talk to everybody that I used to play with. I don't talk to everybody I used to go to school with. But those true brothers of mine, those greyhounds, we see each other on the streets. We see each other's name pop up on our phones. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? You good? You straight? Good, man, good. And like, we actually mean it. So, I don't know, maybe other people don't have that same interaction with people that they went to school with, played football with, played sports with in general, not just football. But I do believe football is an actual brotherhood. But yeah, that's another conversation for another time. You guys don't want to hear me ramble on about that, about why football is the greatest sport of all time, why football is the ultimate brotherhood of all time. But yeah, guys, if you haven't seen the movie Soul, make sure you watch it. I think it would have been really cool to see that movie in 3D. I'm not big on 3D movies, but I do think that would have been a really cool movie to sit down in the IMAX 3D and see that. That would have been awesome. Just because of the visual effects that come with the Great Beyond. That would have been so freaking cool. So, I don't know. Maybe once the theaters open up, they'll do something special like that and just let people see all the movies that were sent straight to video on demand. Maybe they'll do like a $2 movie day, and because movie theaters make all their money off the concessions anyway. So get in for cheap. You get your popcorn, you drink. I think is the best part of going to the movies. Which is kind of why I feel like going to see Wonder Woman in the theater today anyway. Because I miss movie theater popcorn. You get a soda, you sit down and watch the movie. But the last time I went, and I'm sitting there eating my popcorn and sipping my sip, which was just a soda. It was a lime Fanta. I love AMC. Love AMC. They have the lime. They have the Fanta machine, or not the Fanta machine, but the create your own Coca-Cola product. Lime Fanta is the best. I've never seen it in the store. I think it's honestly, I think it's just to create your own. So, I was sitting there and I'm eating my popcorn and drinking my drink, and you know when you can just feel somebody staring at you. There's some lady like way down the aisle, like complete other end. I'm sitting at the steps here. She's sitting at the steps on the other end. And I could feel her staring at me the whole time, like, you're not wearing a mask. Of course I'm not wearing a mask. I'm eating popcorn and sipping my drink. So yeah, I don't know, guys. Maybe one day we'll get back to normal. Hopefully soon. I really do hope that is the case. We can go back to movie theaters. That's probably the number one thing that I miss the most, movie theaters. I also miss going to the bars. Just sitting down after work, having a drink, eating a couple wings, eat a burger maybe, talk to the bartenders, watch sports highlights that I missed from the night before. And, it's always a good time. I miss that. And hopefully soon we can get back to it. Yeah, guys, keep up the good faith. Keep on living. Find what makes you happy. Find what makes you happy. Find your passion in life, because that ultimately it does make life so much better, it's not easier. It's not easier, but it definitely makes life better. So I'm going to leave you guys on that. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, let everybody know that the Young Rebel Podcast is the best podcast on the market. It's free. You can catch me on YouTube, of course, because you guys like to see this stuff. I don't know why, but you guys like to see it. So go ahead and view it. Hit the share button. That's all I ask. Hit the share button. You can find me on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, all that good stuff. So yeah, guys, thanks so much for listening. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.